Tonight, if your house gets cold, you'll probably turn on a heater or grab a blanket, maybe make a hot drink. Now imagine none of those things exist. No central heating, no insulated house, no winter jacket, just freezing wind, endless snow, and another long night. For thousands of generations, your ancestors lived exactly like that. So how did they survive winters that should have killed them? The answer is far more incredible than most people realize, because humans didn't simply survive the Ice Age. In many ways, it shaped the species you are today. Imagine waking up 40,000 years ago. The temperature is well below freezing. Your breath hangs in the air. The ground is covered in snow. Somewhere in the distance, wolves are moving through the forest. You don't have waterproof boots, you don't have thermal clothing, you don't even have a weather forecast. If your group makes the wrong decision today, someone may not survive the night. And this wasn't a rare emergency. For your ancestors, this was simply winter. So why didn't humans disappear? The first answer is surprisingly simple: fire. Most people think of fire as a way to cook food, but for ancient humans, fire was life itself. It provided warmth, light, protection from predators, a place to dry wet clothing, and perhaps most importantly, it allowed people to stay together. A single campfire could transform a deadly landscape into a place where families could rest, talk, repair tools, and recover their strength before another freezing day. But fire alone wasn't enough. If it were, every animal that discovered fire would have survived. Humans had something else. They adapted. Over thousands of generations, people living in colder climates gradually developed bodies better suited for freezing environments. Some populations became shorter and broader, helping them lose less body heat. Others developed slightly different body proportions that helped conserve warmth. And hidden inside your body is another reminder of that ancient struggle. It's called brown fat. Unlike ordinary body fat, brown fat isn't mainly used to store energy. Its job is to produce heat. Babies are born with a surprisingly large amount of it because staying warm is one of the biggest challenges a newborn faces. Adults still carry some of it today. When you're exposed to cold, this special fat can switch on and help warm your body from the inside. In other words, your body still remembers winters your ancestors survived thousands of years ago. But even that wasn't enough, because no human body can survive an ice age without protection. So humans created something no other animal ever mastered: clothing. At first, clothing wasn't about fashion. It wasn't about status. It was survival. Animal hides trapped warm air close to the body, creating a layer of insulation against freezing winds. Archaeologists have found specialized tools used for scraping and preparing animal skins, showing that ancient humans weren't simply throwing furs over their shoulders. They were carefully crafting clothing designed for different conditions. Every stitch mattered. A poorly made garment could mean frostbite, or worse. But perhaps the greatest survival tool wasn't fire or clothing, it was cooperation. Imagine trying to survive winter completely alone. You would need to gather firewood, find food, watch for predators, care for injuries, build shelter, all while your body burns enormous amounts of energy just trying to stay warm. It's almost impossible. Now imagine doing it with 20 other people. Someone gathers wood, someone hunts, someone watches the children, someone repairs clothing, someone keeps the fire alive through the night. The workload is shared. The chances of survival increase dramatically. This may have been humanity's greatest advantage: not strength, not speed, teamwork. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer societies have found that food is often shared throughout the group. A successful hunter doesn't simply feed their own family, they feed everyone, because next week someone else might be the successful hunter. In harsh winters, generosity wasn't kindness, it was insurance. Helping others today increased the chances they would help you tomorrow. And then there was shelter. Most people picture ancient humans living only in caves, but caves were surprisingly rare. Instead, humans became remarkably creative. They built shelters from wood, animal hides, bones, even mammoth tusks. Some Ice Age communities in Eastern Europe constructed circular homes using the bones of dozens of mammoths, covering them with hides to block the freezing wind. Imagine standing inside one of those shelters while snow falls outside. It wasn't luxury, but compared to sleeping in the open, it could mean the difference between life and death. Humans also learned something many animals already understood. Winter changes the rules. People traveled differently, hunted differently, stored food more carefully, and paid closer attention to the landscape. Frozen rivers became roads. Animal migrations became opportunities. Every season demanded a different strategy. Flexibility became a survival skill. And perhaps that's the real reason humans succeeded. Most animals survive by changing their bodies. Humans survive by changing their behavior. When conditions changed, humans didn't wait thousands of years for evolution to solve the problem. They invented new solutions, better clothing, better shelters, better hunting techniques, better ways of working together. Every generation passed those lessons to the next. Knowledge became just as important as strength, and that's something many people overlook. The greatest survival tool your ancestors ever possessed wasn't fire, it wasn't a spear, it wasn't even intelligence alone. It was the ability to teach. One person discovers a better way to build a shelter. Everyone benefits. Someone learns where animals migrate during winter. The entire group survives. Knowledge accumulated across generations until humans could live in places that should have been impossible. Then something extraordinary happened. Instead of simply surviving winter, humans began expanding into it. They crossed frozen landscapes, entered new continents, adapted to environments no previous human species had conquered. Winter stopped being an obstacle. It became another place to call home. Tonight, you'll probably sleep beneath a warm blanket without thinking about it. Your house will protect you from the wind. Your heater will quietly keep the room comfortable. It all feels normal, but every layer of warmth you enjoy today exists because countless generations before you refused to let winter win. They built fires, shared food, invented clothing, protected one another, and passed that knowledge forward. Winter shaped them, and through them, it shaped you.